like, it's a long time. Sometime around that time frame, they basically stopped testing people for sex.
You need to be a little more concise, please.
Yeah, I'm rounding up. I'm rounding up. The last thing I was going to say is that, like, what the IOC tests people for is testosterone level, right? The problem with going by testosterone level is that males can artificially suppress their testosterone level. This was the same issue that they had with Casa Semenya, because Casa Semenya was excluded from the female category because of having male testosterone levels. And Casa Semenya, how we know that Casa Semenya is male is that when Casa Semenya filed the appeal, right, against being excluded, they filed on the basis of having an intersex disorder, and then inside the court document, the specific disorder is revealed, and that disorder is a disorder that can only happen to males, and that conclusively medically proves that Casa Semenya is male, and it's suspected that Khalif has the same problem. So I'm done.
Thank you, Sugar Bell. Well, let me announce this new poll, this stimulating poll. So trans athletes participate in female sports. Well, we got no way. Or yes, they should. What do you guys think? Let me see. And we're going popcorn style.
Can I just say something? And I was sitting at a stoplight and looked at the chat. Trillian, supporting trans people is supporting violence in 2025. Can you maybe walk me through the statistics and the data to support that, in contrast to the support of young white men in them being overrepresented in walking into K through 12 institutions and blowing away children in America? Can we maybe go through those numbers?
Yeah, and statistically, I'd like to address that like 6% of Asians are, hermaphrodites. So, like, that's 1.7% of the population. You guys are denying some part of their existence. It's like in my culture for thousands of years.
Wait a second. Hold on a second. AK, you stole me some Cuban rum, Joe.
I still have that rum, bro. I gotta just come by and drop it out.
All right, yeah, continue your slow.
I just say that, for thousands of years in Asia, like, we've accepted these people in, like, ancient texts. They were part of our community. They were, like, seen as good luck, and we take care of them because God made them that way. Those are my sentences. Good, thank you.
Yeah, so forgive me, I'm stuck in my face because I'm Team Big Back. Look through my photos.
Hell yes!
Look through my photos so you can confirm. But yeah, I think the data might take too long, and also this room isn't about white men who are young and shooting people. I don't like them either.
Well, it could be if they identify as trans.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then we're talking, then there's that, and I agree. But yeah, hello, did he ask Trillian or who's this?
AK, let her land because she don't play around.
You can speak for me if I don't give a fuck, because I said what I said. I think promoting trans in 2025 is promoting violence. I don't think I need any data.
But was your statement from the standpoint of promoting transgenderism or defending?
Promoting, defending.
You see that as being the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I do have one trans friend. She has her penis still, which sounds crazy to me, but I call her what she wants to be referred to as. I've known her for over a decade. We don't talk about weird shit. I don't feel intimidated by her when we've been in the bathroom. I met her when I was in my early 20s.
But you don't feel that calling her is defending, and so you don't feel like calling her is defending.
A relationship, I've never had an issue with trans people because my introduction to the trans community was through her, and I've never felt weird about it. I started feeling weird when I'm seeing men with fake fucking prosthetic titties on the news assaulting women and other men who are identifying as trans in high school, attacking girls in school. And when I see men dressed as women again in women's sports, I'm not an athlete, so it doesn't affect me, but that's what it's evolved to. I don't like it. Is there some normalcy? Really quick, are there good, clean, kind, fun, loving, and all these other great things of trans women or men? I'm sure. But I only have one person to base that off of. Like, are you going to base my one opinion off anyone in this room or any of the mods? I hope not.
Wait. ahead, Trillian.
Yeah, I mean, just based on, I mean, I don't know, I can pull up these articles where women are being assaulted by trans men. I can pull up some stuff. I'm stuffing my face. I think bigging my back is more important. But if it was how it was back in the day when I was in my 20s or even before then, I think, is Tall still here? I like Tall. You know, she said she grew up in that community and everything was fun and good vibes. Yeah. But in my opinion, from what I've seen, it is not fun and good vibes anymore. I don't want anyone to hate me for saying what I said per se. If you do, I'm also okay with that. But I don't know how else to say. I kind of said what I said. That's how I feel.
And I hear you, but even in your defense of what you said, which you didn't have to defend yourself, you said what you said. But I respect you for taking the time and actually explaining what you meant by what you said. But even the fact that you're calling, your friend a she, do you not feel that that is promoting and defending a trans person by calling him a she?
Well, I said earlier, I mean, it could be. So let's say yes and no, because I'm sure someone feels no, you feel yes, whatever. But I said earlier, if you were born Samuel and you want me to call you Samantha, I'm gonna respect that. But in my head, do I have my own opinions? Yeah, and I keep them to myself to be respectful. So I met her as, let's say, Samantha, and then 2 years into our friendship, she told me she was fucking born as Samuel, and I was like, oh well, I'm not just gonna be a bitch and start calling you a man.
Oh, so you guys were friends under the impression that she was a female, but born a biological. Okay, and let me ask you this: were you attacked by this person?
I know you heard the other stuff I said.
No, I know, but I just want to make it very clear. You didn't know that this person had a penis, because you did mention that they still have a penis. Did they ever try to do anything funny with you? Did you ever feel disrespected, violated, or compromised in your womanhood?
Flippers, I think you're an intelligent person.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking these questions.
Because maybe you didn't hear me. I don't know if I broke up, but I did say she's the one person that has introduced me to that life. And it was a level of normalcy. This was over a decade ago. I'm in my late 30s. Look at my photos. I know I look great. It's unbelievable.
No, you're not. Anyway. You're 25. So stop lying.
So wait, let me ask you a question. What if your child came home and told you that they were trans? Would you love them less? What would you do in that situation?
I would. First of all, if you were a girl, all right, I have a son, you guys. As of now, I have a son. I don't know. Tomorrow, he may be my daughter. Who knows? But I have a son, and the same rules that would apply if he was my daughter, neither of you bitches are allowed to wear makeup outside the house. You know, when you're 18 or 21 or whatever the fuck you're ready to fly and be whatever, be your, independent, you do whatever you want. I'm still going to love my child, but I'm not going to like some of the choices they fucking make. It would be the same if he decided he wanted to be a felon, and no disrespect to felons, but my son is black. We don't need any more nigga felons on earth. So that would disappoint me. So I don't know if that answers your question. I would still love him, but I would not allow certain things. No, you're not allowed to wear dresses. You're not allowed to wear nails. I mean, shout out to Brett Man's rock mother, but that's not allowed in my house. When you're over a certain age and you settled in, and because here's the thing, these kids are changing their minds for a lot. And I'll say one thing, I don't mean to, I don't want to take it dark. I was molested by a female as a little girl, and it made me confused, and I thought maybe I liked girls, but I didn't. It was that I was fucking molested by a little girl, as a little girl. So I would have a conversation and ask, what is this really about? If he, to his core, wanted to be a woman, then he has to give himself time to really figure that out. Because let's not act like these people are not changing their minds. Some of them are, especially as children. You change your fucking mind. A lot of girls, and I'm gonna land here for real. A lot of girls, they go through a tomboy phase. Then they change their mind, and then they're the girliest of girls. So,
I mean, my first experience with a trans person was one of my best friends from high school that I played sports with. We went to two different colleges, but kind of lived together during college briefly. when he was going through a rough patch, and lived in my family home. So, one year for Halloween, we all thought that, we were going to a frat party, and he thought that was around like the metrosexual time, and he dressed up as a girl, and all of the compliments that he was getting from actually women, and mind you, this dude was in drag, okay? He never stopped dressing as a woman. And now he is fully transitioned. He works for Jeffree Star and has a very lucrative and successful business, and is married to a Middle Eastern man, which is, it is what it is. Can I say that the friendship fell apart because of the transgenderism? No, the friendship fell apart because this person had an affair with one of my parents' neighbors' husbands.
Hold on 1 second, Adams. I gotta vote. Hold on, Sugar Bell. Adams, I'm gonna mod you. Help run the room with Nye till I get back, please. Thank you. I'll be back in a little bit.
I got you, Jay. But yeah, Trillian, he ended up having an affair with one of my parents' neighbors' husbands. And the affair started at a party. My parents went to Mexico. I threw a party at my house. My neighbor's husband came in with his wife, actually. She got too drunk and went home. And then I caught my friend and my neighbor's husband making out in the backseat of my friend's car. So, that's why, the friendship fell apart.
Wow. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to say, Trillian, so, I think the thing you said about, your friend and everything, that's cool. I think my only problem with what you said is, I've heard a lot of women who be like, oh, I have a trans friend, or, oh, I don't mind, or, I've never felt threatened by, a trans person, sharing the same bathroom as me, I don't mind, and that's cool. But the problem is, you can waive your own rights for yourself, and you do have the right to waive your own rights for yourself, but you can't consent for any of the other women. And I think, it's a serious problem. And then to Jarl, because Jarl and I are having kind of an intersex conversation off the heels of the Khalif thing. So the comment that you made where you said that, maybe a woman could have testosterone higher than a man, and then she could outperform the man. This is exactly what I mean when I say that a lot of people that have positions on this issue don't understand the basis of what they are talking about. Natural male testosterone is between 5 times and 30 times the maximum level for women. So if a woman has testosterone in the male range, she's either dead, right, or she is on her way to dying of a serious medical problem. And this is exactly the issue. People think, oh, what if some women have more or have naturally high testosterone? No. The woman with the highest natural testosterone still has less testosterone than the man with the lowest natural testosterone in the world. It's a gulf. There's no overlap at all. And a lot of people just don't know that. They don't. So when people talk about the performance difference, the biggest indicator of performance difference is going through male puberty, right? So once somebody goes through male puberty, there is a massive difference in athletic performance, in speed, agility, all of these things. Massive. Men are about 33% stronger than women, and then if you limit it to upper body strength, men are between 40% to 50% stronger than women. There's no comparison whatsoever.
Okay, let me ask something really quickly. Oh, John, you want to respond?
Yeah, appreciate it. I'll be quick. So, you're right. Generally speaking, I don't know why you said I don't know anything about the topic, but you're right. Generally speaking, that men have higher testosterone levels than women. It took 2 seconds to find plenty of examples of women who have higher testosterone levels than some men. So I don't know why you said in the hospital.
Do you speak French? Yes or no?
Can you give us examples, the examples that you found, please, and what the levels were?
Hold on. Before we go any further, David, we're not doing this here, okay? Stay on mute. But we speak French, slurring your words and doing all this other bullshit. Drink responsibly like a responsible adult, and if you're not going to, don't come off of mute.
I'm not gonna pretend like it's not an extreme situation.
Well, don't pretend.
Don't pretend. Like I know French, so like.
Oh my god.
He's in the audience. Drink some water. Drink some water. Go to sleep. Face down. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Joel, my point to you is like a woman with testosterone levels at that range, right, is in a disease state. She basically, if she walked into a hospital or she encountered a doctor and they tested her and they found out that her testosterone was at this level, they'd be like, hey, you have a serious problem. We need to treat this problem. If we don't treat this problem, bad things are going to happen to you. So when people make that argument, it's weird because people are acting as if you have normal, healthy women and they're walking around with testosterone in the range of men. No. If you have testosterone in the range of men, something is seriously wrong in your body. You have a serious medical issue.
So are we aware that there are, who's speaking, who's that? I'm not going to give him a chance. No, that was Cheryl. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be quick. There are some men that can be as low as 100, nanomoles per liter. There are some women who can go up to 150 nanomoles per liter. Men can go up to 1,000, and women generally are below 100. I understand that's a huge difference, but it can happen that some women can go over some men. There's also been studies.
You think that it can't happen. What I'm saying is that if it gets to that point, it's disease state. That's my point, right? So my point is that people are talking about. When people are talking about and they're also talking in terms of competition, right? When they're talking about this stuff, the fact of the matter is that if you look at women as a group, our testosterone levels are much, much lower than men's. And I kind of want to get away from testosterone, and the reason why I want to is because people get so caught up in testosterone and they forget that the real problem is male puberty. That's the real problem. It is basically male structural. Yeah. So what I mean is that for example, if you go to this website called Boys versus Women, there's a really good chart of this, right? And what that chart is that it basically takes all the women who are the Olympic gold medalists of different sports like running, things like that, and then it charts them against high school boys, right, who participate in these national competitions of track.
Sugar Billy, can I ask you a question? Are you an endocrinologist?
No.
Oh, okay. Have you had any endocrinology training?
No.
Got it. Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Proceed.
Yeah, so basically, it plots them against high school boys, participating in national track competitions, and it tracks the age at which the boys start to surpass the Olympic women's performance, and generally it kind of ranges around 15 to 18, and that's the effect of male puberty. And what I mean is the structural changes that boys experience as they go through puberty and turn into men that give them a physical advantage over women, right? That is the real reason why you have all this controversy over men in women's sports. It's because men have denser bones, they have more muscle mass, they have greater lung capacity, they have bigger hearts, their hearts are able to pump more blood, they have narrow pelvises which make them more aerodynamic, they have more fast twitch muscles, things like this compared to women. So when people kind of get stuck in the weeds about who has more testosterone, blah, blah, you're missing the point, really.
Well,
I think it's I'm done. Go ahead. Actually, I'm done. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I want you to be able to respond. Go ahead.
The last thing I'll say is, and I'll look for it after and post it in the chat, but my understanding is a lot of the fastest Olympic female runners have very high testosterone levels. And not to negate anything you said, Sugar Belly, because all of those things are true, but testosterone definitely plays a part. That's all I wanted to say.
I'm not disputing that testosterone plays a part, so we agree completely on that point. We completely agree on that point.
So let me ask you a question. From an endocrinology perspective, do you understand why women who are in menopause actually get testosterone treatments?
Do you mean estrogen replacement treatment?
No, I don't.
Mm-hmm. So testosterone treatments? Yeah,
correct.
Because when they're in menopause.
And what physical and biological function does it support for them to behoove them
Yeah.
to do
So first of all, both men and women have testosterone. It's not it's not an exclusively male hormone.
We know
It's
this. Can you maybe answer my question?
Yes, I'm trying to answer your question, but I'm not an endocrinologist, right? So I don't think your question is like relevant to what I'm saying.
No, it is.
I don't.
It's very relevant because a lot of women in the middle of menopause, and I think that I probably have a lot more clinical training than you do. A lot of women in menopause actually get testosterone injections to support higher energy, right?
Okay, so
a higher sex drive, and also to address matters of bone density.
Yes,
correct?
I would like to ask a question, just so
Wait. I have a question to this point. I'm not trying to be disgusting.
Yeah, sure.
I've heard that a lot of women, when they go through menopause slippers, that cootie cat kind of gets dry. Does testosterone help with the moisture? I'm just curious. I'm just curious.
Yeah, so
Not the cootie cat.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to verify something, just so like I'm not like assuming, right?
Wait, is your question is testosterone? Does it?
No.
Yes, it can. It can actually alleviate vaginal dryness. Yes.
Okay, sorry. The thing I want to verify, please. Did anybody in this room hear me claim that I was a doctor or an endocrinologist? Because I'm trying to understand Slippers' line of.
No, and I'm not a doctor either, but I do have a lot more advanced biology education and clinical training.
Yeah,
but I'm not a doctor. Right. So I'm going to start from the standpoint of science of being intellectually honest.
Yeah.
So when you say these.
Barreling over me though. Like,
no, I'm not barreling over you.
You kind of are though.
No, I'm just presenting facts that aren't consistent with your usual talking points.
Again, Slippers, like it's fine for you to disagree. I don't have a problem with you like disagreeing with every single thing I'm saying. But the truth is that you are getting a bit hostile and combative, and I don't know why.
Oh,
like,
now I'm being told police. This is crazy.
No, but you are though. Like I was having a perfectly fine conversation with Jarl, right? But then you first of all came up and you're like, oh, are you an endocrinologist? And then when I said no, it was like laugh emojis, and then now you're asking me irrelevant questions.
Well, Sugar Belly, it's very relevant. You speak from a standpoint and authority from a clinical perspective, and I just wanted to give context as to your lack of clinical training. That's it.
So again,
that's it. It's not a gotcha moment. It's not a gotcha moment.
So I would just like to remind everyone in the room, right, that the statement that you speak from a standpoint of a clinical perspective, of authority of a clinical perspective, is a lie. Because at no point did I ever represent myself as a doctor or represent myself as an
You gave that perception.
Right?
You definitely have given that perception. And you actually have. Sugar Belly, listen.
I'm not responsible.
Sugar Belly, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing, and Nicholas called it out for what it was. You were very good at gaslighting, right? Because you're not responsible. Because guess what? You're not licensed.
And now you
right? You're not licensed.
Aggressive.
You are talking from the standpoint of a clinical authority that you do not have.
You just muted me because you're being aggressive.
Yeah, no, I muted you because you won't shut the fuck up.
No, because you were talking over me.
Right, because you won't shut the fuck up. And in case you haven't noticed, I have a green bean and you don't. Right? So when I mute you, that's not an invitation to keep flapping your gums.
This is mod abuse.
No, it's not mod abuse. It's not mod abuse. No, it's not mod abuse. What you're doing,
you're abusing
power.
Hold on. I want to respect Slipper's position as a mod, but at the same time, I want to give her an opportunity to respond. So can we find some middle ground? The two of you, please?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'm picking up my takeout.
Okay, great. So I just want to point out, right, that a couple of things have happened in this conversation. Jarl and I were having a conversation about, these rules they have at the Olympics, about, who can compete, who can't compete, whether it's about testing testosterone levels or so on and so forth, right? That is directly what Jarl and I were talking about. We're also talking about like Iman Khalif and like the recent Olympic situation, right? I want to make it clear to everybody in this room that Slipper's asking me if I'm an endocrinologist, and then furthermore asking me why menopausal women, who are not even in the group of people, right, who we're discussing in the first place, would take testosterone injections is utterly irrelevant to the point. It's just an attempt to derail. It's basically an appeal to authorities, like, or a reverse appeal to authority, like, oh, well, if you're not an endocrinologist, you can't have this conversation. You don't have to be an endocrinologist to understand that men, right, after they go through male puberty, they gain physical advantages that put them much, much higher than women when it comes to athletic performance. Nobody has to be a doctor to understand that. So, and this is exactly what I mean. Like, people who are either like sympathetic to this trans cause, they kind of engage in a lot of, obfuscating, derailing, trying to just like ask you irrelevant questions or trying to like poke holes because they don't actually have a counterpoint to, to defeat what you said. I was enjoying the conversation with Jarl. I think that Jarl, was engaging very politely. I was being polite to Jarl. But Slippers, you were being really aggressive to me for no reason.
Okay, so I just want to switch the conversation just briefly because what I've noticed, what hasn't been mentioned in this discussion today, are biological males being put in women's prisons. And we've heard stories, and I know somebody's going to say, well, I haven't heard about this. So I'm going to go ahead and give you just at least 2 names. And then I encourage anybody who's interested to go to Google and just type in trans women attacks in women's prisons or some variation of those keywords, and you can find other examples. So I'm curious how folks on the stage and in the room, anybody in the Google wants to come up and share, how do we feel about convicted male criminals being housed in female prisons? There was a controversial case out of California last year that involved a man, a 6-foot-tall, 225 biological male named Tremaine, Tremaine Carroll, who was charged with 2 counts of rape. He had to be pulled from a women's prison for allegedly raping an inmate. There was also a case out in Canada, a trans inmate formerly known as Adam Laboucan, Laboucan, forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, was accused of viciously assaulting a female inmate in Canada. Just recently, there was another story I'm trying to pull up of another trans inmate. I mean, literally just last week I read it. I'm trying to find that story so I can give you that name, who also was accused of viciously attacking a female in the prison. There is an article, the headline from the Daily Mail from 2005, September 3rd, female prisoners fear they could be attacked by high-risk trans inmates. We've even had trans advocacy groups, particularly in the case involving the California transgender Tremaine, who acknowledged there was no evidence that he identified as trans before he was convicted and sentenced to prison. When he was sentenced for his crimes, it was then that he identified as a woman, and they put him in a women's prison. And this trans advocacy group worked overtime to get him, they helped get him out of that prison because he's not trans. When I've had these conversations in spaces similar to this, you know what I've heard from men and women, but especially women, they have said, well, what's the big deal? Because the male guards beat and rape the women anyway. So they don't care. They don't care that the trans women are, again, before somebody comes off the mic and says, well, not all trans women are attacking and raping women. We're not saying all. But the fact that we have one case is alarming. The fact that we have 2 cases is alarming. The fact that we can pull up a handful of articles, possibly more, about trans women attacking and raping females in prison is alarming. And anybody who pushes back, they're called a TERF, they're called transphobic, they're put into an other category and made to feel ostracized or their opinion is invalid because you dare want to defend women. So I'm curious what the stage, what the mods, folks in the goo feel about trans women being housed in women's prisons.
So I'm going to be very open and honest. I feel like the reason why a lot of this specific issue has not gotten attention is because it's prison, right? Prison isn't made to be comfortable. Should men be housed with women and exposing them to violence? Absolutely not. I'm just simply pointing out why this issue has not gained esteem to the point of having a conversation to solve the problem.
Yeah, I would
If you don't want to get raped, don't go to prison. Problem solved.
There you go.
I also believe that. Yeah, I agree with what Slipper
And that works for men too.
Yeah, I agree with what Slipper said.
Well, calm down.
Also, if you don't want to be in jail and get fucked, whether you're a man or a woman, you should just try to live a life where you're not going to be in prison, like Mother said.
It actually comes down to
prison is a rampant issue, right? Regardless of which cell people are in, men raping other men and straight in fucking prisons, women abusing other women and playing with the cootie cats. Like, this is a problem in prison everyone knows about. We just don't care because we consider these people to be subhuman to the rest of us in the general population, so we don't waste time thinking about them or resources.
Wait, I love that you.
I just want to say that, like, I find some of the responses to this specific prison issue very strange, right? So it's true, yes.
Hold on, give other people a second to breathe, because you're about to talk for like 10 minutes.
Sorry, that's quite rude, actually.
TA, did you want to say something?
Thanks, Jill. Yeah, I'll be really quick.
Like Sugar Belly, if
you don't have to.
Hello, I wasn't trying to be rude either. Like.
Okay, for the record, you don't have to answer that question.
The thing with Sugar Belly is, it's like, hey, you know, the dishonesty with Sugar Belly.
Do you want to speak?
One at a time. One at a time. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I appreciate it. I'm super Canadian, so I'm sorry if I mute up pretty.
And hello, by the way.
Hello, guys. I was going to say this. I think this one's different than the professional sports. I actually think it has to do with like post-op, pre-op, like the equipment, right? Because I agree. Like, listen, horrible things happen to prisoners all the time, hetero, gay, everything. But I think the reason we separate is because of the type of biological equipment that people have, and I think uniquely prisons, it actually should come down to like what you're packing post-op, pre-op.
Let me just ask something. If anybody, for folks on the stage, really quick, if you have a daughter, and she was wayward, and she got herself in trouble and ended up in prison, and her cellmate ended up being a 6 foot, 250 pound man who raped her senselessly and beat her on a daily. So y'all would be okay with that because she committed a crime and ended up in jail. Is that what? Is that the?
No, we're not. Anyone is saying that. Well, even if it was a stranger, it's horrible and painful. Even if it's a stranger if it was someone I don't like, I would think it's heinous and horrible.
It is, but I also feel like to some degree in the underbelly. This is not a pun at Sugar Belly. But I feel like the underbelly of, the establishment feels like if they're not correcting the issue and women truthfully disappear, it might serve as a deterrent to not engage in criminality and end up in said prison. So, I mean, in my personal opinion, I feel like from the standpoint of, and I know you guys are going to jump on me, okay, but every once in a while, I jump out with my radical conservative ideas. Maybe prisons should be, maybe they should be mixed sex. Maybe they should, put men in with women. Maybe that would be a deterrent for people to not engage in criminality. I'm sorry. And especially once you commit certain crimes, I'm not really necessarily worried about how comfortable you are in prison.
Sorry.
Problem, though?
So yeah, co-ed prisons might be a deterrent.
Hold on. Okay. This is what we're gonna do. Hold on. This is what we're gonna do. TA was speaking. We're gonna go TA. At Sugar Belly, we're gonna give you a minute to respond. BB might want to respond, and welcome Marshall to the stage. So go ahead, TA. Sugar Belly.
Yeah.
Thanks. I have to be really quick.
Yeah, it was. I'd actually rather record Crazy Adams and Stupid Nine.
The deterrent for crime shouldn't be rape, it should be rehabilitation. If the idea is we want to bring these people back in, right? Only unless they are never going to re-enter society, in which case, again, don't torture them, just keep them locked up. I don't think torture should ever be a part of rehabilitation or.
Okay. Well, let me just be very clear. Hold on, Marshall. Hold on.
Ooh.
I do not condone sexual assault in any way, shape, or form. Okay? So I just want to be very, very, very clear. And I know that you didn't imply that I did, but I want to be very clear in what I said. I said what I said. Okay? Maybe if they had co-ed prisons, that would wake up a light in people's head to not engage in criminality. That is what I said.
So you're saying rape is a good deterrent so that people don't commit.
Y'all going right back to the bullshit. Let me be loud and motherfucking clear. I said that perhaps having co-ed prisons could be a deterrent to prevent people from criminality. Nobody ever talked about assault. Nobody ever talked about any of that other bullshit. Y'all are being hyperbolic and adding more shit to what the fuck I said.
You're saying that you don't regard you don't
William, you're going down to the audience. I didn't say that. You're hearing voices.
Okay. We're gonna wait a minute. Wait. Sugar Belly's gonna go. Marley, I got you. We're gonna go Sugar Belly. BB, if you want to go, then Marshall.
Yeah, I would like to hear Sugar Belly.
Hey, bring Brother William back up, y'all.
William can come back up. But
he's not well. He's hearing voices.
But also, what's the conversation?
I just want to say three main things. What is it? The first thing I wanted to say, I think it was to what. It was about like the responses, right, about the prison issue, and I feel like a lot of the responses are a bit strange because, okay, we can acknowledge the fact that there's already a rape problem in prison, whether it's guards raping prisoners, whether it's like other prisoners raping prisoners and so on and so forth. There's a pre-established rape problem in prison, which is terrible, and that needs to be fixed. But then the whole trans prison argument is an argument about introducing a policy, right, or making a change that facilitates additional rape in prison. So more rape on top of the pre-existing rape. And it's always very strange, like when people kind of dismiss the challenges to that idea by citing pre-existing rape. Like these two things are a problem. You don't have to kind of pit them against each other. Even just because we haven't solved the existing rape problem does not mean that we should then allow policies that would then allow additional rapes to happen. That doesn't make any sense. The second thing I wanted to say, I think it was to like what T said when he said that it's because of like the equipment, like the difference in genitals. I would partially agree that is like partially the reason for, separating, but I would also say that it's not just limited to the difference in genitals. It is also difference in strength and most importantly, difference in behavior. So men worldwide, regardless of country, there are no exceptions, as a group are about 800% to 1,000% more criminal than women, no matter the country, no matter the culture, no matter the time period, no matter the, nothing. This is very, very consistent around the world. So if you imprison men and women together, the people who are most likely to victimize the other group of people are the males. Okay, the men or the male prisoners are going to consistently be the majority of people who are victimizing other people, and they're going to be the minority of people who are being victimized by the female prisoners in return. And that is the primary reason why imprisoning males and females together is an internationally recognized human rights violation, because it consistently results in rape, right? And so this is to say that the statement of maybe this would be a deterrent to people's going to prison, that is a pro-rape statement. I'm sorry. I don't care how you feel about it. That is a pro-rape statement.
Thank you, Sugar Belly. BB, did you want to go?
No, because unlike Sugar Belly, I have to actually take this in and think about what she said for a minute and trying to make sense of what she said, because I don't even think she knows if she makes sense or if she doesn't make sense. And this has always been my thing with Sugar Belly, and I don't understand.
Damn, y'all got beep and smoke. Hold on. Y'all got beep and smoke detectors in the UK? This is crazy.
I don't understand. Who are you?
But I've got people coming in and fixing it. I bought the battery, but I can't do it myself. So I've got people coming in tomorrow to do it. No, Sugar Belly, I would love.
Do you have a point, or did you climb the stage to talk about me?
Digest what
hey, BB, if you fly me out, I will definitely wear a banana hammock as I'm changing those batteries.
Okay, let's not. I don't want to derail the conversation by attacking Sugar
what are
Belly.
we talking about? What is the conversation here?
BB, well, I had asked about prisons. How do we feel about men being housed in female prisons? And so, if you want to respond to her comments, that's fine. Let her respond uninterrupted, please.
So BB doesn't know the topic, but just came here to talk about me. But you don't know the topic.
She brought her ass up and didn't even know the conversation. Everybody else is waiting to come.
This is obsession.
And you get off the mic and then ask people.
No, because whenever Sugar Belly is in a room,
damn
weirdo.
An obsessed weirdo.
Leave that girl alone. Leave that girl alone.
You're a stalker.
Stop causing that damn.
Hold on. One. Hey, go ahead, Mike. Hold on. Nosy. Come on, sis. Come on.
So what do we think about men
okay,
in female prison? prisons. But the thing is, it's like, it's not that simple, because first you have to think, you have to go back and you have to determine what is transism, what is a man thinking that they're women. It's very rarely it's the other way around when it goes wrong. So I think like thinking about prison systems, that's when it's out of control. That's the worst case scenario, and that's actually when it actually proves to you that whatever it is not working. So I think we need to go back and we have to think, so how are we going to treat this problem? Are we going to treat it as a mental issue? Because majority don't have this issue. Majority of men don't think they're women. Majority of men don't think that women, they are very quite proud of being men. They know their genitals, they know how biology works, they know how science works, they have a level of honesty. And so for us to take this all the way down to the whole prison system, it's like, who the fuck even like got us this far that we had to go all the way down there to like sort of like
it's just a conversation,
the problem. I think we need to nip it at the bud and like, so okay, I give you an example, right? I live in Britain. I have another minute or two, and I can speak. So,
wait a minute, what you mean you got another minute or two? No, you don't.
Mayors in big cities.
What's going on?
Baby, you up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning up on this app on the weekend. Stop it.
Happening.
So,
did you just tell us what she has? What's going on? Somebody mute this lady now.
Can I speak or no?
No.
The answer is no.
No.
You've had enough time. BB, I love you. But I just want to clarify something now. What was the prison question? I'm a little confused.
Well, what I noted was I said in the conversation, and wait, let me do a quick room reset while I answer that.
Okay. And while you're doing the room reset, Curtis, I sent you a message in your back channel. I just want to publicly say I apologize. But yeah, check your back channel. Thank you. Go ahead. Now one.
So just for those who just came into the room and you're probably like, why did we open this room? So JB stepped away, so he'll be back. JB opened the room because we were inspired by the reports that came out in the last, day or two, that the Charlie Kirk killer lived with his transgender lover or partner. The media's framing it as partner. So that was the kind of catalyst, the motivation for opening up the room to talk about the killer and apparently his trans partner / roommate is working with the FBI. Okay, and JB posed the question, is trans a mental illness or a sin? So that was the conversation that we were having, and it's been a very positive, healthy, it's not been an attack on trans community. And so as the conversation, we're now here in hour two of this conversation, and I said what's interesting, what's missing from this conversation, or not missing, what we haven't touched on, because we've talked about testosterone levels, indirectly, what is a woman, what is a man, who's stronger, who belongs in sports, and are men allowed in sports? And I said, well, curiously enough, how do we feel about trans women being housed in women's prisons? And I cited like 2 or 3 examples of some controversial cases that have made headlines.
And you can throw me under the bus in saying that I advocated for co-ed prisons as a deterrent. So yes, let's throw that in there. Throw Adams all the way under the bus. I'm totally good. I got tire marks on my neck. And it's all good. Everybody's opinion is welcome. And I cited 2 or 3 examples that have made headlines over the past couple of years about trans women who sexually assaulted and violently beat women in prisons. And I want to make clear for anybody who's new to the room, I and nobody else on the stage are suggesting that trans women overall who are being housed in women's prisons are violent towards women. I was just citing examples that have made headlines, engaging the room. How do we feel? If some of us feel that men can be in the sports and the spas and the bathrooms, et cetera, how do we feel about men being housed in the prisons? So just adding to the conversation. And so now here we are, and that's the room reset. And so yeah, just to make it clear, this is not an anti-trans conversation. This is not an attack on the trans community. It all started as it relates to Charlie Kirk's murderer's partner, trans partner, reportedly working with the FBI. Okay, and then it kind of went into, do we think transgenderism is a sin or a mental illness? We had a lot of great responses to that earlier. If y'all didn't miss it,
Nobody attacked trans, so I just want to make that clear. And so we have a queue going. I said Marshall's next. Marley wants to speak. I know William is here, and I see David. So Marshall, would you like to go?
That was a wonderful room reset. Thank you.
Thank you, First Lady.
Can we wish Trillian a happy Clubhouse anniversary?
Marshall, are you there? Did you want to go? If not, we'll go to Marley.
Yeah, I want to hear from, I think Marshall's busy. Go ahead, Marley.
Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Ladies
gorgeous.
and gentlemen. Hello, gentlemen who used to be or wish you were women, and hello, women who used to be or wish you were gentlemen. In case y'all don't know, you might not know who I am, so I'm just going to start out real quick with I am a lesbian, because I don't want to hear, she don't like trans people. I munch carpets, not just on the weekend, okay?
Are you really? I did not know that.
Yes, I am.
I did not know that.
I'm a 1,000% carpet muncher. I was married to a dyke who turned into a trans man. See how I have so much to say about this conversation? Trans people are mentally ill. Now, hold on. Because this is not me being scorned from my marriage. Because after I left that crazy transformer, I was still very pro-trans. But these hippity-hoppity frog-faced ass men who are putting on glittery eyeshadow and skirts these days are crazy. They're insane. And they're after your children. And I don't care who don't like it. These new, the trans girls, the old trans dolls, 45 and up, they don't seem to give a damn. They seem to just go and put on their girdles. They put that concrete in their face and hips, and they leave people alone. But these little young ones, these little new little funny boys, this is mental illness. And I blame the Democratic Party. And let me just say this too. And then I'm gonna shut up. Putting men and women in prisons together is only gonna stop women from committing crime because they don't want to be raped. Men will go out and steal Sprites and wait for the cops to come and get them so they can go to prison and have access to women that they want to rape. That's not going to solve the problem. Men want to be able to rape women, recklessly, so they'll just go to prison more. Men do not belong in prisons with women. I don't give a damn how good their wig is. I don't care how good their breast implants are. If you were born with the penis, you go over there with the penis holders. Period. Nobody cares. You go in the bathroom with them. You go into prison with them because you are a danger to us. We've had trans women all over TikTok saying that they're going to slap women if we look at them wrong in the bathroom. And I was just talking about this last night, and now you were there. That crazy one, Lily something, that crazy trans woman with the glasses and the red hair.
Lily T.
Yes, saying that a 3-year-old little girl made him feel uncomfortable in the bathroom because she was looking at me. You know how the liberals start melting down. You're literally committing violence by looking at me and calling me he. That little girl was probably trying to figure out why